Hello survivors and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be looking at the newly released premiere character, which is Rick, who's wearing a Negan outfit as a 5-star. It's the same sort of gear as a 6-star. I've got no idea. Is this the 15th anniversary promotional character? There were two 15th anniversary characters, one a 4-star, one a 5-star. I'm not sure what's happened to that 5-star. I think we're meant to still receive it. I have to chase that up if I'm honest, but we get the 4-star from the roadmap. Those are more commemorative characters. Obviously this is a promo, so it's going to be pretty strong. So we're going to look through the kit, and I have seen this character and I've got mixed emotions because he has got really strong parts of his kit. So we'll go through the basics first, and it'll be the stats: 1,968 damage or attack, 1,319 defense, and we have 1,608 hit points or HP. He is a strong character and he is classified within the damage roll. Now if you look at his adrenaline rush, has really high maim, a lot of maim damage, 940 damage to 2 enemies. This is really high, kind of takes maim to the next level. Maim was really underwhelming, and I think if they're gonna do maim like this, they kind of need to increase the maim on the old characters that have it, because maim is trash if it's too low. It is really useless. Whereas maim like this is pretty nasty, you know. And if you consider that a lot of people's rushes actually still do more damage than this, the side effect of maim is obviously that it is 100% damage cannot be healed. Only certain characters can remove maim. I think pretty much is just Trip. It might only just be Trip who can remove maim. I'm not 100% sure who can remove that. Those enemies also get 325 bleed damage and 75% heal reduction for 3 turns. So this character is really good against, obviously, anyone who's got a lot of HP. He's going to bleed them down. Anyone who's surrounded by healers, that sort of deal. All your teammates also get focus for 1 turn, which means you bypass shields and you can't get confused for 1 turn. Now, this is nice in itself, it's very nice. He also has the specialist skill, which is Lacerator, which will help a lot with his bleed. That is a 3-turn, 325 damage bleed. So if he follows up with that after doing the rush, you've got to consider that person's already got 940 maim, so they've already got 940 HP taken off them, then another 325 bleed. You can double that and it's going to be pretty nasty. Now the Lacerator skill, you know what this is. It just doubles basically anyone who's got bleed on them already, and this Rick will attack them. Kind of how it works with Shiva, will just double that bleed. Very strong character. And we look at the active skill, focus and AP gain. This character gets focus for 2 turns and gains 35% AP. We've seen a lot of these gains AP, which is kind of nice, especially if you run this character with a command. Generally would only really work consistently on an attack team. In terms of, you do the active skill, you gain the AP to be able to get your rush to get commanded, and then because you've got focus, you can now attack behind a shield. Pretty nice, especially if you attack, say, a lower HP character to guarantee a kill. They'll have heal reduction. That means they can't be revived for 3 turns. That's pretty strong with that heal reduction. Now the weapon has a specialist weapon as well, and it's 30% attack, a medium bonus to AP when attacking, and confuse when taking damage, a better chance to confuse an enemy for 2 turns. So this is the first character to have a when taking damage confuse. The other character that has confuse is Tough Michonne, who has confuse on attack. Now this entire character is really good. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is really nice. Then I just thought about it for a moment and I was like, it's such a conflicting character. It's got 2 types of character in one. Now, let me just make you understand what I mean. The kit, the adrenaline rush, the specialist skill, and the active skill work really, really well together. Those 3 work really well together. The weapon and his stats work really well together to a certain extent. But in terms of his getting attack on his weapon, he's got high attack already. But the weapon and stats don't work well with the skill and the specialist skill and the active skill. They actually counter each other. He has no percentage damage on any of his attack. He does not need high attack. If he had 1 attack like on his stats, if it was 1, literally 1, the lowest it can be, he would still do exactly the same amount of damage on his rush. His bleed would still do exactly the same amount. The only thing that his attack is going to affect is his basic attacks. And that is a massive, like, I don't know, negative towards his defensive side of his skill set, because he'd benefit much more from taking less damage or having higher health pool. So if we just switch these stats around just a little bit, so he had 1,968 HP, 1,608 defense, and 1,319 attack, he would instantly become a much better character. So this character just doesn't sit right with those stats. In terms of his role being a damage dealer, he'd still be a damage dealer, he'd just be a bit more tanky. Same goes with his weapon. He doesn't need attack. He's literally stacking percentage attack on the weapon to do a stronger basic attack. Which, sure, is nice, but this character you could probably get out on a defense team because he has Confuse on defense. So you're going to want to stack defense, you're going to want to stack HP, and that's just the only conflict I see with this character. It could have been a bit more, like, a bit better kitted out with the weapon and stats when it comes to, you know, looking at the rush, looking at the active, well, the specialist skill and the active skill don't really matter too much. It's mainly the rush has no percentage on it. The only percentage on it is hill reduction, which is true. So it's not going to be based off of higher attack or anything like that. The bleed's never going to change, like I already said. The maim's never going to change. So it's really strange in my head, like, he doesn't need this much attack. I would much more prefer him to have high defense and HP. That being said, I'd still say he's a great character. I think he would be really good. He might work on a defense team. You're going to have to massively stack defense and HP. You're going to have it on combat mods. You're going to have to change out his 30% attack. It's useless on this weapon. Get rid of that 30% defense and AP when attacking, and get that up to 35% defense. You know, just, you know, that sort of deal. He needs defense. His defense is so low that that's the main issue with this character. Now, I have a character called Cal. A lot of people write this character off, think he's terrible. I've got his defense up to nearly 3k, you know, behind a leader, with his weapon, with his combat mods, he's tanky. You know, you can make this guy tanky, and Cal has, I think, much lower base defense as well, like 1100, which it was a very strange decision as well with me. He had very high attack stats. So it's kind of the same situation between Cal and Rick. But I'd still say Rick is good because you can use him on an attack team, and even if you don't want to use him on a defense team. Maim is really strong with that sort of high damage, and I think he's got potential to be a really strong character if we're in the right setup. If you have another Lacerator character as well, 2 Lacerator characters together can work really, really well. So if you already have the Shiva, the Albino Shiva, who is a fast character, it worked really well. So do tell me if you're going to pull for this character. I am not going to pull for this character. I may have if I had a 40 pull up, but I'm waiting for a 40 pull. My brother is very tempted, so I might have a video up on my brother's pulls within the next couple of days. Hopefully he gets lucky if he does pull. Hopefully you get lucky if you pull as well, guys. Do give me your thoughts. Do you think he's powerful? Too powerful? Do you agree with me in terms of his stats don't really match his adrenaline rush, you know, his weapon? It doesn't seem to match up really very well. But that's the end of this video, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, guys, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.